Hi there nomads, Stevie Murdoch here. Today we're going to be making a creamy vegan mac and cheese sauce. I'll be actually making the mac with penne, not macaroni, so it'll be penne and cheese. I love this vegan mac and cheese recipe because it's approachable to all humans and it's freaking tasty. As you might notice, I'm not in the van tonight. I have the luxury of being in a home, but I am going to be cooking it the same way I would in the backcountry while camping or in my van. This recipe usually calls for a Ninja, a blender of any sorts, but I want to show you guys what it looks like when you don't have access to these tools and you can still make a great, delicious product. So nomads, let's hit that stove and get cooking. Okay nomads, often I like to use tiny ingredients because of my tiny space. In this case, I just think they're freaking cute. Step 1, to make the base of the cheese sauce. We're going to make a basic veggie style broth that has more substance to it because we're going to use potatoes to thicken that bad boy up. I like to use water and bouillon paste, and in this case I'm using chicken bouillon because I don't have any veggie bouillon. Good thing I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. The other things we'll be putting in it are carrots and onions. Now I'm cooking for my sister tonight and she is allergic to onions. So you can make this approachable to any dietary needs. I like to add a couple more potatoes in there because adding more substance to it, it does alter the taste without having the onion. But my sister, avid, allergen with no onions and no garlic, she has solutions for that. So I will show you a little bit about that later. But in the meantime, what you want to do is just finely chop all of these, almost like a brunoise, if you know what that is. Brunoise is a fine mint that is 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. You don't need to be that exact, just mince the crap up. Best way to make an exact brunoise is to cut your carrots into panels first. Plop them down onto the countertop in an easy way, not the rounded side down. And then you're going to make matchsticks. Trying to keep to that 1/8 of an inch the whole time. Oop. Push that pile together and make lateral cuts, making small little brunoises. There we go. Same thing with the potatoes. Just make panels. Stack them up and make lateral cuts. Once all of your ingredients have been cut up, go ahead and add them into a shallow saucepan. I'm using about 1 cup of potatoes to a 1/4 cup carrot. Add just enough water to submerge your veggies with about 1 centimeter of water over it. You don't want to drown these guys because you want them to absorb all the water and already start to make that creamy, delicious sauce before you even get it out of the pan. Put that on medium-high. We're going to let it come up to a boil and then add in our ingredients to make it even tastier. At this point, you can add some salt, but hold off on the rest of the seasonings. Go ahead and put a pot of water on now so that you don't have to wait for your pasta water to boil. Always add enough salt to make your pasta water taste a little sea salty. That adds more flavor into your noodles when you cook them. Raw cashews. A vegan's dream in creaminess. What we're going to do with these is take about a quarter cup of these raw cashews, and we're going to soak them in hot water for about as much time as it takes to cook this and heat that water up. 15-ish minutes. This is better than bouillon. It is a brand of bouillon pastes that are absolutely delicious. It's probably the best way that you can get stock at home without actually having to make stock. I really like this product because it's deep, full of flavor, easy to use, and never overly salty. It also comes in organic, which everyone's buying organic today, but I specifically do because I know it's better for my body. But I'm really glad I looked at the ingredients because this bouillon and chicken stock in general usually has garlic and onions in it, or at least onions. And this one says flavoring star, which means it's probably got onions and garlic in it. So I won't be using this tonight, but if you were to use this, you'd add in about a teaspoon into that pan, and it adds extra delicious flavor. So tonight I'll do something different. I'll just heavily season the pan with some extra seasonings. We are adding in seasonings. Pepper, lightly, because we're also going to be using paprika, which this paprika is one that my friend from Venison Valley Farms grew in her garden, picked, dried, and ground. It's amazing. Super delicious and actually a lot more spicy than most paprikas. So I'm not going to overly do it with the pepper. I am going to add in some of the asafoetida powder. Asafoetida is an Indian spice that's often used in Ayurvedic medicine, but it's a great flavor replacer for onions and garlics. And reading this, it says low FODMAP too, which is interesting. FODMAPs are inflammatories, and I forgot that onions and garlic are on that FODMAP, so there actually might be a lot of you out there who are onion and garlic free, just like my sister. Hopefully you don't have the same reaction she does. So we'll add a little bit of this stuff. A little bit goes a long way, so I mean a smidgen of a teaspoon. That's good. Come a little closer. You can see that the mixture is getting nice and bubbly and a little bit thicker. We want most of that water to absorb and to be gone, but all these veggies to be fully cooked. It's a very fine balance. At this point, our vegetable medley is getting very tender. Check it with a fork by mashing it down and seeing what happens. Mine almost has a gravy-like consistency, which is beautiful. We want this to be still a little bit chunky, rustic, but the thicker it is, the better. So what I'm going to do is just go around and mash this up a little bit, getting those potatoes to break down even more. Drain the cashews and spread them out onto your cutting board. They should be nice and tender now, enough that when you fine mince them, they're going to lose a little bit of their integrity. And add those cashews to your saucepan with the mixture while it's still breaking down. And we're there. We have a nice creamy consistency on the veggie plus cashew mixture. I'm going to turn this down to low and start adding in a few of our other ingredients. all vegans' favorite and non-vegans too, nutritional yeast. I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup into there, sprinkling in. Add in about half a lemon of lemon juice. You can use more if you'd like, less if you'd like, or you can even use lemon burst because you're lazy. Boom. Then coconut milk. Make sure you buy a coconut milk that's pretty full fat. You want to have that delicious, crunchy, or creamy, thick fat that's on the top of the can, and you're mostly going to be using that. Now I cooked something with coconut milk the other day, so I don't have the full can, but we still got fat in there. Start out with 1/2 cup and see what consistency that takes you. Now, in the beginning I mentioned that you can also make this in the backcountry very easily. With coconut milk, you don't want to be hauling a can of coconut milk in your backpack, so I've used coconut milk powder before, and it works just fine. You have to make sure that you dissolve the coconut chunks all the way, or else it gets weird. It's not very good. Okay, so I got too excited about adding coconut milk, obviously, because my sauce is a little bit too thin now. That's okay, because it's still on the heat. So I'll just turn it up to about medium, and then let it evaporate off a little bit. Sauce is done, pasta's done, mix them together. Go ahead and you can mix it into the pot that you made it in, that way it's evenly coated, and then plate it up. Look at that deliciousness. Now, you notice that it does not look like a normal mac and cheese, but it is coated with that fine deliciousness of potatoes and carrots and the cashews. So it's going to give the flavor of it, not necessarily the full texture, but the rusticness of the sauce does please the palate quite a bit. And it's fantastic on toast the next day. Well, Nomads, I really enjoyed cooking with you today. I hope that you give the creamy mac and cheese a try. Or try out the backcountry rustic version, where you don't have a blender. If you try out this recipe, please let me know and comment below. If you have any questions, do the same. If you haven't done so already, please like this video and subscribe to Stevie Murdoch, the Van Life Chef channel. I will always be putting out more videos, trying to teach you how to cook anything, anywhere, and hopefully eating healthy while doing it. I really enjoyed cooking with you today, and I'm going to go eat. Yum yum!